Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Happy Friday to everyone, 19th of January 2018. Live and direct, Thando Mangaliso here. I'm flying with my lovely partner, Vanya Mangaliso. And yes, it's time to talk all things fashion. And this is the Fashion Blueprint.
Hello, Mr. Mangaliso. Thank you for the great welcome to the Fashion Blueprint. It is the time, it's Friday. We're happy to be here. We've survived an amazing week, back to school week. And we're
back
here.
To school. Wow, what a relief.
Back to school times 4. So yeah, lots of exciting things, all sorts of new kids starting schools, lots of plans, people going back to work. Yeah, and we relocated our store, so we're quite excited about. We've got a sale, most importantly, a big sale, almost up to 70% off, and it has been going well. It's what's really great about sales is the fact that you're also able to give value back to people who've supported you all year long.
Yeah.
And
No, interesting thing with our sale at SunGoddess, we said up to 70% on selected items. Everyone is just taking it as 70%. They are just blind to it, but you know what? In the spirit of them coming to our shop and us trying to add
spirit of
value,
love, actually, they come to us with love, really.
Yeah, and us trying to add value to our clients, we just give a 70% off. So come see us. The sale ends next week. It has actually been a resounding success. We've
It
never
started
actually
on the
had such a busy
15th. We actually have never had an up to 70% sale. Thank you to all our male customers who responded so well this time. Because we usually send a picture of a lady's garment and say we've got a sale in the store, and they just look at it and go, okay, whatever. I've never bought a dress in your store. Why are you sending me dresses on sale? So yeah, I know it's been great. That's the gentlemen are responding. I think the consciousness in men's fashion it's really rising. Men are having fun, as you can see by the number of accessories for men that are being sold and designed, and the number of men that are buying accessories. They're enjoying fashion like it always was. If you think of the olden days, how flamboyant. Look at the church. I mean, who dresses better than the Pope? Come on.
Yeah, no, accessories are important. I think there was a time towards the late 90s and the early 2000s where men toned down a bit, but everyone needs, you can't just wear a watch. You've got to have a watch, a bit of bling around the neck. There's got to be something that tells people or communicates, your sort of personality. And that's what we are finding now. Guys want to express themselves more. It's not just about, the suit or whatever it is. It's just how can you express yourself through your accessories. And accessories are nice in that you can wear them every day, switch them and add value to your existing look.
Talking accessories, we brought our fragrances. We've got 3 fragrances today. We're talking all things nicely scented.
And lifestyle.
As we're talking accessories and brands that, when a fashion brand makes that critical transition to lifestyle, for us, that move was signified by the fragrance. When we launched Goddess and Kumkani as 2 twin signatures in 2006, this was us saying, we're not just a fashion brand anymore. We're going into lifestyle, like fragrances, luxury goods, like leather bags, and all sorts of like some of these, like if you think of these like leather cuffs and the kind of thing. So you might ask, why launch a fragrance?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What was the point of launching the fragrance?
Well, some people might have to ask you. You're not asking me, are you?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I think for us, why are you asking me?
I think for us, what we discovered is that people wanted to remain in contact with the brand on a more regular basis. So you buy a dress for, let's say, 4,000 or 5,000 rand in the shop. You can only wear it maybe once or twice in a month or in a week. But the nice thing about the fragrance is that you can wear it every day. You stay in contact with it as well. It's also an easy point of access to the brand as well, in that these bottles of fragrance only go for 500 rand.
Sure, I think when I was growing up, my favorite brands, I could never afford, as a varsity student, you couldn't afford a Prada or Gucci. And what you would do then, how you would access the lifestyle, the fragrance gives you that. It's like a t-shirt. It gives you access to the brand. That's really why brands launch fragrances. And also, it's it's a good revenue spinner in the sense that, most of the couture houses, if you're designing a couture dress, it would take you who knows, a month, 2 months, but you can surely ship and ship millions of fragrances a month. Basically, from a business perspective, there's obviously different levels and different rationales as to why you would launch fragrances.
And our fragrance has been a resounding success. From the time we launched it, South African public was very responsive. In that, if you think of most people who think what fragrance can be made in South Africa, fragrances are made in Europe, but we broke that stereotype and we've had great support. Kumkani is the male fragrance.
Here's Kumkani. This is a 50 ml of Kumkani. Kumkani is a very woody fragrance. It's musky. It's very masculine. It's got lavender. Your top notes are like the woody top notes. It's something that a lot of women like, interestingly enough.
Full-bodied fragrance as well.
A lot of women wear Kumkani.
More importantly, when you hear the name Kumkani and you smell the fragrance
king.
Kumkani, you think king and you think South Africa, which was very intentional of ourselves. And then with Kumkani came
Goddess. Goddess is it's an interesting combination of spicy, fruity, and floral. Not many people would want to do that. People would either go with one or the other. But that was already there. We wanted something that would be unique and distinct
and dynamic,
and dynamic and evolving. And then came Usapo. Usapo was a fragrance we launched in 2012, almost 6 years after the first two. And really, the reason why we launched Usapo is when we wanted a new fragrance, the other two had been great. We wanted something that would be lighter, that could be enjoyed by even our kids. We now had kids who were at the age where they wanted to wear fragrance. And we thought, what would be nice is something that we could take, just have one bottle we can take in the car on the way on the school run. And everyone sprays themselves on the way. And that was Usapo, called Usapo. Usapo really means family. And it also comes in the 50 ml. It's very florally, very light,
and a world first. There have been unisex fragrances,
but it's a family fragrance.
It's a family fragrance.
I think it is a world first.
Your mom, your dad, the
Anyone
children,
can wear
grandparents, and it just stays in the car. And in the morning when you drop the kids off at school, everyone just has like a quick splash and to refresh themselves.
It's really like a shower. It's like the bar of soap that everyone will use in the bathroom. And also what I loved about it on a personal note, it's because it's so floral. It reminds me like of like freshly cleaned, washed linen that's pegged there. It's got fabric softener. It's got that feeling, that whole thing of cleanliness. And being a mom, for me, that was really the connection that I wanted my children when they smell it. It must be evocative of that. A clean shower, your mom's fresh linen, things that are warm, things that are nurturing. Life is so hard that every little bit of comfort and love, line up your triggers, whatever that will trigger that for you, line it up.
What we also found, especially with Usapo, is because all of us smell the same, it was also like a unifying factor between us as well, which is
sure. Here's
refreshing.
Another thing. Just out of interest, a bit of trivia. The most successful selling fragrance in the world is Chanel No. 5, by the way. So, I meet a lot of people say, oh no, I only wear Chanel, I only wear No. 5. Now, here's my thing. Everyone knows that whatever scent you are wearing, you stop smelling it after a while.
Yeah.
So, it is my advice to those people who are loyal to your one fragrance, not just one brand. That's why brands will create more than one fragrance. Chanel, using Chanel as an example, have to. There are lots of fragrances then been launched in Chanel. They didn't need to because number 5 was so successful. They could have just gone on and milked number 5. But because it's, in essence, it is a fashion brand, they also understand about newness, about freshness, about developing, about introducing new things, innovation. Because, we're also moving into a world where we have to take advantage of all the technological innovations that are just moving so fast in terms of material. You're also talking packaging. Remember, we need to be a little bit more responsible in the way we do business. For instance, the kind of packaging that you should use as a suggestion. Now we're talking circular economies, another topic for another day. To simply define circular economies, we're talking where the well-being and the profitability of your business does not negatively impact the environment. So basically, how successful you are is your ability to extricate the negative from the positive. And we're not talking corporate social investment, no. We're talking where you design a business strategy, where your business strategy is designed in such a way that you are not having a harmful impact on your environment.
Which is why the boxes are reusable.
Boxes are reusable. And that's what it's about. Recycling is a big part of it. When you talk circular economies, it's also that you look at every aspect of your business. It stops being a product. Like, for instance, in our case, we're not selling just clothes. We are selling a lifestyle, hence the fragrances. Do you know what I'm saying? And we're building relationships. It's not I give you a product and I wave goodbye. You build relationships. And an example of that, a practical example of that in our case, I have customers who will buy dresses somewhere and come to me and say, like, oh no, I bought this dress in China and blah, blah, blah. I need it altered. Now, that's got nothing to do with me technically. But you know what? Because of the relationship, I will take on the dress and I will help them out. You know, you become, because now we have this relationship. You become
providing solutions.
You providing solutions. We are here to provide wardrobe solutions, and this is where the world is going. This is the biggest buzzword in fashion now: circular economies. It's about, like we were talking about, not harming the environment that in which you operate in. Also requires, what's good about it is that it requires creative collaboration. Very difficult to do things on your own, in the sense that you got to link up with other people.
No, definitely, and creative collaborations are excellent.
And so when you think of fragrances and that kind of thing, yes, you know, you want to make them nice and lavish, but it is also an exercise for us now. The next level for us in fragrance producing is to drill down to how are our fragrances made, in terms of how can we minimize the impact on the environment. And that's what it's really about. And so we're excited, you know, to move into this new phase. You know, going into, it's like, how many years now since we had fragrances? About 10 years.
12 years.
12 years of fragrances, and we wear them every day. And we've got 3 fragrances.
And we only wear SunGoddess fragrances. But fortunately, because they're three different ways of smelling. I personally, I started with the Kumgani, but I've switched now to the, you know, from every now and again I switch. I go back to Goddess.
I'm the kind of girl who can blend in the fragrances. I can wear all 3 at the same time. I mean, I love fragrances. And the thing is, what's interesting is that I suppose all of my memories are olfactory. I remember things by smells more than I remember anything. I could smell something that will take me to, I smell something today, it can take me to like when I was 10 years old. Yeah. That's how strong my memories are when it comes to
sentimental value of
scent.
Fragrance is huge.
Sentimental sense.
That's it, you know, sentimental sense.
Excuse the
like she was saying, I remember whenever I smell the fragrance Trésor, I was walking in sand, it just took me straight back to when I was 9 years old. I just finished a rugby game and my mom had fetched me, you know, it's like, wow. And that's what fragrance does, you know.
It actually
and
does.
Our byline for our fragrance is carry Africa's spirit with you, and that's what it's about. As much as people do have fragrances in South Africa, what a lot of our clients have also said is it's almost like liberating to know that you've got a South African fragrance, you know, something that comes from home.
Yes, it's nice
developed
to show
from home for you.
Proudly SA. Well, they all still come from France. Please understand that much. Because if you want the best, you gotta go to the best, to a point where you can start creating your own. And I think that is important to outline. Yes, as much as somebody will be thinking, oh yeah, but why do they all still come from France? But guess what? To us, that represent an opportunity.
No, for sure. And also, we didn't have, you know, the luxury of having millions to spend on producing
Setting up things.
You know, this thing had to be done fast. It had to be done successfully, and more importantly, convincingly. You know, our fragrances are outstanding. And
it wasn't easy. Also, you know, like everything else, African and new coming into the market, it wasn't easy. If anyone out there wants to launch a fragrance, we could share a thing or two. But we can chat more about that after the ad break.
Time to pay the bills.
Time
and we'll
to pay the
see you
bills.
on the other side of this.
And we can talk prices also, what it costs. Great value.
brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.sungoddess.co.za www.beastdownmedia.co.za.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Brand Live.
No doubt.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back to the Fashion Blueprint
Back on attack.
with the SunGoddess team talking all things fragrance and fashion. Just before the break, we were talking about the fragrances, obviously just trying to share why we launched the fragrance. First of all, we wear fragrances. We need to wear fragrances. As in we, as personal people, like the fragrance. Not that anyone has to wear fragrance. No, don't get me wrong. We love them. And yes, and as part of that critical transition to becoming more of a lifestyle brand, and this came with a lot of other launch of other luxury goods like bags, SunGoddess eyewear, shoes, all sorts of high end
Silverware, our high end jewelry.
silver African accessory lines. So we are very grateful for the great support, and we sold it through Edgar's at some point, the fragrance.
Sold it through Edgar's, and that was actually a very interesting
Very big up to
period.
Adcon.
Yeah.
However, it was really a systematic thing that didn't work, isn't it? In the sense that the management at the time, the ordering systems weren't suiting us. But it's a relationship that we can go back and explore now that we are Radium. The fragrance is available in our stores. We can sell it online. We can ship the bottles. Most of our customers. What's interesting now, we started with 100 ml, and then we thought, let's do a 50 ml to make it affordable. But now we are having some customers who are asking for 200 mils, which is, not even 100. We have 5 specific customers, and we're going to customize those for them. Actually, the bottles for 200 mils, and let's see how far we can take it.
The reason for that is we've got clients that literally buy 5 to 6 bottles
at a time.
We had to send a whole lot of fragrance to our Durban store. There's a particular gentleman who wanted 8 kumganis at the same time. And, in speaking to him, he was like, listen, I need a 200 ml bottle.
Get me to it. One of them must be 200
ml. He wears it every day.
Bottle.
And he
so
really
it will be
enjoys
nice
the fragrance.
So it will be nice to experiment and just see how far we can do. Even aesthetically, I think it would be nice to have your 200 ml bottle. Not the one that you take away, no.
It's the one that
this
stays
is
in
the
the
one
bag.
that can go into your bag.
The 50 mils, yeah. It slips into the bag. Even the 100 mils, but I think 200 mils will just stay in your bathroom, and you'll cane it every day, basically.
And you can enjoy it. It can be part of the decor of your house. Now we're talking lifestyle. When it comes to fashion accessories, we've seen fashion accessories make transitions to deco and interiors. You've seen a collar from a head to a hat on the wall. I've had American customers walk in and they buy like 3 collars for their living rooms, and they're going to hang them up.
Even neck pieces. We've had people buy 3 neck pieces, put it on a picture frame. And
well, some things are so beautiful they should be framed, never worn. So yes, these are just some of the things that as a brand have been a dream that came through, and we're looking forward to doing more. We first and foremost, we are our own target audience. So the point behind that is we never give out something that doesn't speak to us. We have to love it and treasure it. It's something
I think for us as well, dealing with the fragrance over the last 12 years, it's just the tip of the iceberg, Not that we've taken our time, but for you to grow and understand and to be able to produce and distribute and sell the fragrance properly, it does take time. And for us, this is the limit for us in terms of we can only produce and make so many clothes, but this is something that we can sell not only in South Africa but all over the world.
Oh yes, and also like we said earlier, from a business perspective, you can move millions of bottles a month as opposed to moving dresses. Not only because you can't sell dresses, but because it takes that much.
Yeah, if you think of
it takes that much to make clothes. Remember, also our clothes are handcrafted. They've got a lot of handwork, which also is not a bad thing, as it creates jobs. we're moving in a world of such advanced robotics that even us in fashion are starting to look at the whole thing of robotics and thinking, imagine if your factory would not shut down. When the people go home at 5 o'clock, you're kicking in a factory with robotics. And this is a reality. We're talking 5 years down the line. So in the end, brands like us that have got so much handwork done become quite important in the sense that you have to, it creates jobs. The fact that our clothes have got the detail, I mean, you look at the detail at the bottom of the clothes, somebody has to mark that. Somebody has to understand mathematics,
and I think more
like
importantly,
spacing and all those things, and that's very labor intensive, and I think that's something to celebrate. And I think with more of us educating ourselves on fashion and the dynamics and the new wave on how it affects you as an individual, not to go back to the H&M thing, but I think people should have treated that as an opportunity to understand fashion dynamics and intercultural social developments, as in how does your buying a t-shirt at H&M at $50 as opposed to buying it at Woolworths maybe at $60 impact your life overall? What are the connections, the connectivity to your spending? Your $50, you acquiring a t-shirt on your own. It's not just you doing your own selfish thing in the end, whether it's by design or not.
And I think more importantly with handmaking, if you look at the time that it takes and the time that it takes to develop someone to be able to do what is needed on that garment, we're preserving certain skills that otherwise would be lost.
Sure. Yes. And as
that
said,
the younger generation don't want to put in that work, but if you think of the buttons, the beads, the stitching.
Not that they don't want to put in the work. I think what you will never appreciate something that you don't understand. And I think if you think about it, one of the reasons I joined the council and play an active part is because I care for this industry, and I see so many people misrepresented, and I live it in every day, and I'm thinking, I suppose you have to, when it comes to consumer sentiment, we really, really have to move with them. They're not moving as fast as we, the active participants, are. And like we started, remember when we started, people would say to us, oh no, I'm not buying a skirt for 300 when I can get it at Woolworths, at Truett's at 150. And the whole thing was, listen, Truett's made 200,000 20,000 of those skirts, and we've made like 2 or 10. So you're talking a different ball game. But you can't do it arrogantly. You share with people, and that's what we had to do. And I think even with issues like globalization, the H&Ms, we need to have positive dialogue that moves us forward. It's not just about emotions and then it blows over and everyone goes back. I don't think so. I don't think that's what it's about. It's an opportunity to address some of these things,
No, that's what it's about, and
so the fragrance, yes, the price. We wanted to talk about the price of the fragrance.
The fragrance is 500 Rand for the 50 mils.
It's 500 Rand for the 50 mil. And we overnight, it's hard to overnight because fragrance doesn't fly. It's flammable. It can only travel by road.
So
like when you travel overseas, that they won't allow you to take a bottle of 100 mils. You gotta take 50 because some people get ideas. So yes, it just takes 2 to 3 days. We send fragrance all over the world. I've had to send a fragrance to a place in Ethiopia that did not even have a proper address, but somehow it got there. It was really incredible to know that it has reached some of the far parts of the world and our continent, and we're really grateful. I mean, more than anything, this for us, the things like this were a dream. It's a real privilege to be allowed to do these kinds of things, and we hope that it's an inspiration for many other South Africans to launch their own fragrances. Why not?
And also to be well supported. Obviously things started off a bit slowly, but
I love fragrances. I could bathe in them. I could bathe in them all day long.
And as I was saying, South African public has come through. 12 years later, we're still producing the fragrance. We're still selling the fragrance. It is a dream that has come true, and as much as I've sold hundreds, even thousands of bottles of fragrance, I am always humbled when someone comes into the store and says, listen, I want a bottle of Goddess or Sapo or Gumgani. It's incredible.
Oh, by the way, what we were saying is, if you think of the packaging, this packaging, it's recyclable. This is the new age. This ribbon you keep, and you can use for gifts. When you've made a gift for somebody, you can tie it around your gifts. The box, the idea with the box is after you take the fragrance, it's not the one that you crumple and you throw in the dustbin. You can use it for storage. You can store your jewelry. The fragrance inside is packaged in a little bag with love, and this bag becomes your jewelry. You can keep your jewelry in it. Look at this. This is what it means. It's those hand touches. That's the beauty now of being a brand like us, the size of us, of our scale. So I just want to show you as a jewelry bag.
Lovely.
Or whatever, you keep something. This is something you keep.
And the box can be used as to store other things.
To store other things. Even when you're traveling, you can store your things. And there we go. Do you know what I mean? And this is what we're talking about now, the new wave in fashion, the circular economies. How you preserve the environment as opposed to linear environment where you do what you want to do. It doesn't matter who it affects as long as you're making money. Thank you.
So we've discussed lifestyle, we've discussed fragrance, we've discussed circular economies. It's been a wonderful show once again.
And I'm about to lose an earring, yeah?
Yeah, I'm about to lose an earring. So yeah, Friday 19th of January 2018. Come join us at our store. We're going straight there now, meeting clients.
Yes.
Up to 70% off, which is unheard of.
Sale.
Proper sale. No 20%, no
paper?
30%, but a big 70%
A pen,
off.
sorry. A pen.
So I just want to say thank you very much to 27 Boxes for
Thank you.
being here. Our partners in crime, Fashion Brand Live.
This is a sale at SunGoddess. 70% off. Hey, 70% off. Join us this afternoon. Come have fun. Come see us.
Live and direct.
Thank you for joining us. We look forward to a bigger and a better year.
And we'll see you next week.
2018 must show us, man. Show us some flames, 2018. Show us what you got. We're ready.
The right kind of flames, that is.
Of course. Love is a flame, by the way. Those are the flames I want.